The smartest guys around. They're about to break it down like they won the game a million times. Well, actually, they never really won the game at all. Here we go. It's a different version. Robin, Stephen Robin. Got the game all figured out. They know it all. This is not the version he sent me. Survivor, know it all.
Wow. Brent LaBelle, thank you.
That was the only good thing to happen tonight.
Yes. Oh my God. Everything is terrible.
Everything is terrible.
Oh my God. This is going to be like grief counseling right now, Stephen. I'm hyperventilating. I'm trying to catch my breath. Was that potentially, I don't want to be hyperbolic, was that the craziest tribal council of all time?
I think it was not that bad a move.
Okay, well, we'll get through it. We'll get through it. Stephen has a lot of JT to talk about tonight. I want to talk about twists. I want to talk about everything that happened there tonight. A lot to unpack, a jam-packed show. Even if we were not here live at Caroline's on Broadway.
In the words of Brad Culpepper, the bonds we make here are better than the bonds at other places.
Yes, always, always. Stephen, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, this is terrible.
Yes, the night started.
I'm reeling.
It started so nicely when Stephen Fishbach bought me dinner tonight.
Well, before you podcast.
Yes,
Yeah.
so thank you very much about that. But then, downhill from there with that unexpected turn of events tonight. We'll talk it all the way through. Of course, a lot more to come here on RHAP as a podcast this week. Tomorrow, I'm going to be speaking with Malcolm. Bummer. That's a bummer. But then on the bright side, I'll talk to Richard Hatch about the episode, the recap. And then your voicemails with Liana Boris this week. So a big crowd. All right, Stephen, I don't even know where do we start with this. I want to talk to you about JT, okay? Because you are the JT expert on the panel.
Yeah.
What was JT's intention tonight?
Okay.
And did things go the way he wanted them to go? And if not, why?
Well, I think they obviously didn't go the way he wanted them to go,
What did he want to happen?
So here's my interpretation of what just happened, okay? All right. JT swapped. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. JT swapped a couple weeks ago. Down the numbers, 5-1. Terrible position on his new tribe. He pulls over Malcolm, still 4-2, still in a terrible position. He's got no leverage. Then suddenly JT is given this gift, a dual tribal council with not just this new tribe that hates him, but all of his old friends on his previous other tribe.
Yeah, and let's not forget that the first three people that went out of the game, all from the original Mana tribe. So It's been all Nuku. Malcolm also from the original Mana tribe. So this has been a pagonging from the start.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so JT now has the option, he knows he's not the target, so he can try to make a big move to take out Sandra, who is basically the glue on his current tribe. If he can get rid of Sandra on his current tribe, he can destabilize his current tribe to the point where maybe he could take control of it. So I think he thought, and we saw JT voted for Sierra.
Yes,
There
he
were 6
voted.
votes for
He
Sierra.
voted with the
Yes.
new Mana group.
So my thought is
New Nuku.
that basically JT tells Culpepper, hey, we're voting for Sierra. If it so happens that the tribe has an idol, they can play it for Sierra, vote out Sandra, JT's in a great spot. If the tribe doesn't have an idol, JT's voted for Sierra, 6 votes strong, no harm, no foul. So I think in JT's mind, the two options are, 1, I stay strong with my tribe and get rid of Sierra. 2, they have an idol, they get rid of Sandra, I'm in a better spot. He just didn't think about 3.
What was 3? That they had an idol?
They had the idol, and they didn't vote out Sandra. They voted for Malcolm.
Yeah. So then when JT went to go talk to Brad the second time, what did he say? Because it was very hard to keep track of all of this.
He said, JT says, vote for Sandra the second time. And what I want to know is, why didn't Brad vote for Sandra?
Well, I think that from where Brad is sitting, everything worked out fine, no?
Well, okay.
I think Brad has been very fixated on Malcolm and looked at him.
You're fixated on Brad being fixated on Malcolm. I don't think we've actually.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
I guess there's no evidence to support the person I'm saying was targeting Malcolm, who voted Malcolm out of the game tonight, actually was targeting Malcolm.
No. Because we saw that tribe having the discussion, and Brad was like, we got to vote for Sandra. JT's going to vote for Sandra. Debbie said, we got to vote for Sandra. JT's going to vote for Sandra. And then they voted for Malcolm.
That was a good decoy. I believe what he said is
decoy to us?
No, I believe what he said was there's lots of threats over there. First, you've got Malcolm, and you've got the two-time winner. That's the person who's the biggest threat of them all. That's the decoy part.
No, but I mean when they were just talking like at their tribe camp,
right.
Brad was like saying let's go for Sandra, and Sierra Dawn Thomas was the one who's saying let's go for Malcolm. Now, if you're Brad Culpepper, just like wouldn't you rather eliminate Sandra than Malcolm? Like Tony goes home, Caleb goes home. Why take out Malcolm if you're Brad Culpepper?
Because this twist ended up changing the dynamics. Malcolm tonight became the earliest merge boot in the history of the show.
Yeah.
That's what this was. This was an early merge, and even though it was 6 people from Nuku, who cares? It was still more original Nuku people. They took out the merge boot. They took out the guy who was going to win the challenges.
But that's the reason you don't take out the merge boot before the merge, because you've got, if you're Brad, you've got an opportunity to take out Sandra. As soon as they merge, no one's targeting Sandra, right? How many times do you have to see that happen? Why not leave Malcolm in the game where he's going to be a giant, gleaming golden target at the merge, giving you a little bit of cover. Sandra's not providing Brad Culpepper that kind of cover.
I mean, hypothetically, if you were going to have a merge and the way it's going, where you're going to have like 9 Nuku people and 3 people from Mana, and Sandra is one of those people, I think you can convince that big group to go after, just like in Survivor Second Chance, where you have that big alliance. It's like, okay, well, what's an easy person to go after? And you guys say, okay, let's make Cass the merge boot. It's not because Cass is going to go win the challenges, but that's an easy person to rally the numbers against when you have that big of a group.
Right, but that's like one hypothetical based on 1,000 different things happening. Like who won?
Well, what do you want me to work with, Stephen?
Yeah. No, but the guy who had all the meat shields won Survivor Second Chances, and Brad just eliminated a potential meat shield.
But that's not the only way to pretend. That's accidental thing. That's not the only way.
The bell is on my side.
Yes, that's not the only way to get to the end of the game. There's so much to talk through with all this. Was there anything Malcolm could have done? Does Malcolm, do we assign any blame to Malcolm for what happened to him? Or, audience?
I mean, you gotta have some blame to Malcolm. I mean...
Malcolm did do one thing or say one thing that was wrong. Whether he did anything wrong, we'll get to the bottom of. He said in his confessional that if I know Brad Culpepper, that he said that they're going to be going for Sandra.
JT said that.
Yeah, and he agreed with it.
Right.
So that he was not thinking that he was in danger at this tribal council tonight.
Right. Well, he thought he would be, except he thought that JT's relationship with Culpepper
would protect him.
Culpepper deviously broke and destroyed. Was good enough. Who knew Culpepper was such a rat?
So you're Team JT, and again, you are just a surrogate, not his official mouthpiece. But you're saying that JT fans should be mad at Brad Culpepper tonight.
Yes, I think so. It's like, look, as someone,
you guys buying that?
All right. I think I have some expertise in like flaming out in dramatic tribal councils by trusting the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And just because the tribal council goes terribly wrong, it still could be it's basic duplicity is what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Haley Ford because I think she's been very fun to watch this season. That she has exceeded my expectations. What was her intention tonight? What did she want to happen? Because she spoke a lot at the tribal council.
Right.
She talked about that she wanted to get rid of threats.
Yeah.
She talked to the people from her original tribe. I'm not ready to vote yet. What did she want to happen? And or was she fully on board with Sierra and her new tribe? And was she just playing the part of the person who was sort of on the fence?
I really like Haley, but she seems to be playing all of her like tribal moments really badly, right? She's so antagonistic to that group. When Brad was like, "Hey, Blue Eyes." I mean, obviously that's not the greatest way to talk to someone, but even so, like she was like, "I'm against you." She's like, "I'm in the minority and I'm not on your team." And then she kept on reiterating again and again how she wasn't really with them. I mean, doesn't that seem like just 100% the wrong thing to do?
I don't know. I don't know what her actual intentions were, whether she was with them. I also got the sense that maybe she might have actually been hoping Brad Culpepper got voted out of that tribal council.
Right.
Like, I thought that she was maybe a reverse JT,
Right.
where she was going to vote with her group, but I think she might have been secretly hoping that the new Nuku voted against Brad Culpepper in that spot.
So when she said she did not consent to vote, which is one of the greatest moments I think ever. Is that so? You think she was trying to switch the vote in that moment to Brad?
I honestly have no idea. Do you guys think that Haley wanted Brad Culpepper to go out?
No.
Mixed split, little split. Okay. You can only ask them yes/no questions.
Okay.
Anything else doesn't work. Okay. So then I also want to know about the decision to play the idol on Sierra Dawn Thomas. Or actually, let me start with putting the votes on Sierra Dawn Thomas. Isn't that the most basic move in that situation? I'd like to maybe cast some dispersions against that new Nuku group.
Right.
Because haven't really since South Pacific, and we can get into this with Sophie in a little bit, but like putting the votes on the lieutenant, not the main guy, but
Right.
but isn't that tired? Isn't that old?
No, it's effective, right? I mean, obviously in this case it wasn't because they told them who they were voting for, which is kind of ruins that.
So you think if they didn't say if you think JT didn't tell Brad we're gonna put the votes on Sierra, then they would not have been able to figure out to play the idol on Sierra.
Yeah, I think they probably would have put them, thought either Brad or, I don't know, Haley. I mean, I guess not Haley. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't feel like that Sierra was the right person to go after. I mean, that...
but that's why, right?
Who's playing an idol on Debbie?
Debbie. Debbie is, yeah.
You think they would?
I think Debbie might.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Really, that was really crazy. I want to talk about the actual twist,
The
though,
twist itself.
because I didn't like it. I don't like it. It was... I think it was exciting, but I don't think that this is what we want.
Well, once again, you're wrong. When I first heard about the twist, I thought it was a bad idea because it didn't seem fair for people to be voting against each other who hadn't played with each other in this game. But because it's a returning player season and everyone knows each other and everyone has a reputation, I thought it was really... Yeah. I thought it was a really interesting idea, and I liked it. And obviously the drama, I felt, justified it. I mean, I think we, as viewers, have kind of like stepped away from the potential, like the question of, what is fair, what is right, and we just want, we want the craziness.
Sure, we want the craziness, but at what cost? Because we lose Malcolm here. Tell me, how do you think this is going to play on the Survivor Facebook page tomorrow? Sierra Dawn Thomas is going to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Malcolm is out.
I'm against whatever they are for on that. Yeah.
I just think if the goal is exciting gameplay, yeah, we're all on the page with that, but we haven't really had this, I don't think, and maybe you have an example of something where a twist that we're adding into something really screws over a fan favorite. And the twists are exciting and everything as long as they're at the benefit of the people that the audience is rooting for.
Right.
But when we're going to make this big twist, sure, it's an exciting TV moment, but now we've lost one of the stars of the show.
Well, but that's not the twist's fault necessarily, right? I mean, anyone could have gone home tonight.
Anybody could have gone home tonight, but does all of the twists that we add to the game, do we get to the point where now we've added so much variance to things
Right.
that now we've really leveled the gameplay? Are there anybody here that watch Big Brother Canada? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that when you put too many twists, you inject so much randomness now into the game.
Right.
That now we have now we've lost a real standout.
I don't think Survivor is ever going to be at the level of Big Brother.
No, of course,
Yeah.
God forbid.
Yeah.
No. Big Brother Canada, at least. But to lose Malcolm in this way, I can't imagine this went according to the script.
No, I'm sure no one in
Survivor's not scripted.
right.
It's a figure of speech.
I'm sure no one liked to see that, but it's still a huge, moment in the show. Like, who's not going to remember this? It's like when, when Boston Rob went out, right? I mean, like or I guess Tyson actually, right? When Tyson went out, that's like what a huge moment. Like that
Right,
obviously
but
sucked
that,
from a
but that wasn't a twist to the game. That
Right.
was Tyson making a mistake.
Right.
This was a situation where if they did not make this twist tonight,
Right.
Malcolm would not have gone home under any circumstance.
Sure, right.
Now, JT might have gone home in this spot.
Right.
So I guess it's better from where you're sitting.
yeah.
But I don't know. I just wonder, was this too twisty to get all these other people involved in this tribal council?
I just think because the results are bad doesn't mean the twist is bad, right? Like, I mean,
I want to talk about the idol tonight because maybe I'm being results oriented, okay?
Yes.
But I want to talk about the idol tonight because, Stephen, I was under the impression this season that the idols were hidden at the challenges.
Well,
but now Ty goes and looks for an idol after the challenge, and lo and behold, the clue has nothing to do with a challenge. The clue says, dig up an idol at your beach.
I love this. It was like old school. It was like when Penn are looking for the idol on Exile, or like to the cross between the two trees.
It was nothing like that. That was so much better. Right, Billy? Yeah. But no, I just don't understand the logistics of how this works, Stephen. Like,
Right. Well,
are the idol clues changed out when after the challenge is over? So okay, put in the before tribal clues.
I don't know how the magic happens, but it's magical, and I like it. I thought Jeff said that it was like they were all going to be different.
Every idol clue is going to be different.
It's all, who knows what it might be?
What if Ty found the idol clue that said, "Hey, you have to find it at the challenge"?
That would have been then the results you wanted would have occurred.
Yeah, well, that would have been exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine opening up the jar like, you need to hit the next challenge? Like, bollocks.
But so do you? Do you? I mean, you like Ty's idol play here, right? That was the right move for Ty.
Like, what's not to like?
Well, I mean, if some people might have held on to the idol and just kept it in their pocket.
Let Sierra Dawn Thomas go out of the game if you're Ty.
Right.
I mean,
it's an individual game.
I mean that. I don't know why that would be better. I mean, Ty has shown that he will use a idol to protect his allies. He's also shown he will not use an idol to protect his allies. But I mean, he has demonstrated that before. He was willing to use an idol on Anna Kate. I mean, that's just he's willing to take one for the team.
Yeah. I thought it was. I agree. I thought it was the right move.
It was the right move for him. I think that side played things all remarkably well.
I was surprised that he told the tribe before tribal council that he had the idol. That seemed like a little bit dangerous.
Certainly dangerous, but I think that in that all hands on deck, I do think that the tighter group will often win out in that situation because they can trust each other more.
Right.
And I think that certainly was the case tonight. I think that new Nuku group is so screwed now.
Yeah.
I mean, you have now Malcolm is gone.
Yeah.
And you have JT, and then you have like Jeff Varner and Sandra.
Why didn't they put Michaela on that puzzle? Like that's what I didn't understand. It seemed like she would have blown through it. Didn't I mean she basically did a similar puzzle last season.
Was she in at one point?
No.
Okay, maybe. That I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world to think that Jeff Varner is good at puzzles. Let's put him on this.
Why would you think that?
Because he's a smart guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, throwing shade at Jeff Varner.
No, there's no proof. Where's the proof? We've seen Michaela do this thing.
They haven't.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So unless she volunteers, or you don't know. I mean, if she could have done it and they got cut out of the show, you don't know exactly what happened there. So let's not speculate too much on that. How about Sandro after this tonight?
Sandra's in an amazing spot, right?
I really am surprised. Is anybody else surprised that Sandra is still out there? Because I thought she was going to be. I came into the season. I thought she could be the first. Not that I was rooting for it.
Right.
I thought she was going to be probably by the end of those first 2 hours. I really thought Sandra had an amazing chance. But she's like settled in now.
Yeah, and she's running the show over there. It's amazing.
She was so cocky at that tribal council.
Yeah. We actually have never seen her in that position of just like fully like running her tribe like that, which is really fun and interesting.
Yeah, they talked about getting rid of her as a threat. And what did she say? I'm still going to be here tonight. How about that? Yeah, she's like, now catch me outside, Sandra. Yeah, she's like, all of our guns are pointed at you.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah. Boy, I'm really #wow, Stephen.
So but just to put it out there, and obviously I'm biased, you think JT screwed up? I mean, the results clearly show that he screwed up, but was the move itself a screw up?
Well, what would have happened if he didn't do that?
No, if you didn't do that, then presumably Sierra goes home. I mean, other that's the results-oriented thing. You can't think like that.
Well, we
From
don't know.
JT's
What we don't
perspective-
know is who would they have played the idol on. There was
Right.
still a 1 in 5 chance they were going to play the idol on Sierra.
They're not playing it on Haley, right? They're not playing it probably on Debbie.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So were they going to play it on Brad, or are they going to play it on
Or
on,
not.
on Sierra?
I mean, without that kind of concrete information, is Ty handing over his idol? Like, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just wonder, was getting rid of Sandra, like, this is how I always look at these decisions, that if you make this move, how much does it improve your chance to win the game? And if you and if it blows up, how much are you going to lose the game?
Right.
And I don't know if getting Sandra out at that spot ultimately is going to make JT win the game. So I feel like that was too big of a move for JT to make.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. You know, it really is hard to say. Like, 'cause if they go to tribal
Especially
council,
when it wasn't his neck on the line.
but it could be his neck on the line next week, and then, like, you know, maybe he just sat on his hands when he had a shot to change his destiny. You know, wouldn't that be much worse? To, like, do nothing now, and then next week be screwed over for having done nothing. You know, you know, I mean, it's hard. It's impossible to say, right? Like, I mean, obviously it worked out as badly as it could possibly work out. I mean, I think one thing we have to talk about with JT. And someone texted me, like, once again, he trusted the Southern boy. You know?
Who?
Is that JT, he trusted Culpepper to come through, and he's obviously got a bad history of trusting these Southern guys to come through for him.
Boy, Stephen, you're really patting yourself on the back here with your being that I'm the only Yankee that JT can trust.
That's it. He's got to, you know.
Everybody from the South can't trust them.
No, that's not what I said at all. Russell, right? You got to talk about JT vis-a-vis like the Russell move, right? Like,
Okay.
you know, this time he trusted Culpepper to come through. What are the similarities and differences between this and Heroes versus Villains?
Boy, that I don't know necessarily if I can think of any other than that. I mean, they were both big, aggressive moves. Like, JT has really become a riverboat gambler in his Survivor career. He is willing to take, I mean, if anybody's making big moves, it's JT. He's taking these big swings. And I don't know if maybe Tocantins JT would have done that, or maybe he feels like he's playing with house money since he's already won a game. So now he's going to, like, swing for the fences every time out. But he said that Brad was his closest ally.
Yeah, I think, you know, you trust your closest ally, right, to come through for you. Like, and if you put your faith in your allies, and either they screw you or they don't, and like if they stick with you, you could look great, and if they screw you, you look like an idiot.
Yeah, I wonder. You know, Brad Culpepper did not seem to trust Caleb. He didn't. He had no love for Malcolm. He's willing to screw over JT. I do wonder, is there something with these younger guys that Brad Culpepper is just not on the same page with them?
Yeah, it could be.
Okay. All right, let's talk about some stuff that was not of that tribal council. What else happened? Ozzy caught a fish.
Wow.
You know, I did think that, and I excuse me if allow me to be on my soapbox here for a second, but that. What was that animal that he got? What was that? A stingray.
Stingray, yeah.
That stingray. That was the mom's stingray. There was a baby stingray that was right there, and then they caught it, and I'm very upset about that.
Yeah.
They should not have done that,
That was
Ozzy.
sad. Yeah.
Now Ozzy's looking very good. Were you guys excited when Andrea won the challenge?
No,
Pro
you're
Andrea
wrong.
crowd.
You're wrong. Yeah.
Let me look.
And Troyzan's choke.
Oh, Troyzan had a big choke job
Coffee
tonight.
is for closers.
Yeah, how about hashtag coffee is for closers?
Yeah.
Like, that was very out of character for Survivor.
Yeah, it was like funny.
Yeah. And then they sat Troyzan out of the second challenge.
Right.
Blindfold challenge, Steven, not my favorite.
I don't love the blindfold challenge either. Like, what do you get from having people blindfolded?
At least nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt. Right.
But yeah, I don't know what sort of survival skill, other, I guess, teamwork.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spatial awareness.
Spatial awareness is big. Okay. Anything else you want to highlight?
No, I'm still reeling, man. I'm still reeling.
You have to give us a minute.
Yeah,
okay.
it's just hard.
All right. Let's bring in our other honorary know-it-all. Sophie, could you come up and talk to us?
Where is she going to go?
Okay. Let's go. All right, here's Sophie. Always excited to have Sophie here. How you guys doing?
I'm a little nervous. I was almost going to write a list with everything I disagreed with you on.
Oh, disagreed with him, right?
But it was even, both of you.
Okay, what? Start it off.
Malcolm, I think, did make a wrong play.
Okay, well,
The twist was
drill
bad.
down. Okay, Malcolm made a bad play in what way?
I guess I just feel like on this kind of season, everybody, you have to expect that everybody's going to make a big move early. Obviously Culpepper was the real star tonight. So Malcolm made the more conservative play, right? Malcolm is like, you know what, let's wait, let's get Sandra later. And I have to believe because JT went to Culpepper and talked about Sandra only on his second time talking to Culpepper, that had Malcolm and JT come in with a little more strength in their plan to get out Sandra, they might have been able to pull it off.
Oh, so you think they should have come guns blazing?
I think they had to, right? Malcolm got sent home because the other team did have their guns blazing, and because Brad Culpepper totally outplayed them.
Yeah, was there too much
did
cloak
have a
and
mood.
dagger? Like, what if JT stands up and says in front of everybody, like,
voting for
hey,
Sandra.
you know what? I'm putting my vote on Sandra tonight.
Right.
Everybody, join me. Like, Malcolm, you in on this? You said you wanted to get rid of Sandra. Come on, let's do this.
Yeah.
If JT just publicly stands up and says, hey, I'm putting my vote on Sandra tonight.
But don't you always have to wonder at every time, like, who's got the idol? And if everyone stands up and says, hey, Sandra, like, you very well risk someone playing an idol,
He didn't
as
even need to
happened with
stand up
Sierra.
and do it. He just needed to have told Brad Culpepper immediately instead of at the last moment after everybody else was scrambling to be like, by the way, vote out Sandra. If I was Culpepper, I'd be like, you were my closest ally, and at the end of this discussion, you're telling me
You
to
don't
vote
think
out
they
Sandra?
ever mentioned? There was so much scuttling around. I assume that they had said it like prior.
I think that makes sense. I think he
No.
got too cute with, I'm going to tell Brad Culpepper what to do, but then I'm going to go back and tell my team that I didn't really tell him the right thing. And then I'm going to vote for Sierra still.
Yeah.
If he wanted Sandra out, he should have just stood up at the tribal council and said,
Called
hey,
a shot.
I'm voting for Sandra. Now maybe Sandra turns around and says, okay, well, we're all voting for JT.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like JT, that's why I think like why would JT's leverage all comes from the fact that he's not the target at all.
No,
why?
but he is. But now he is. Like so. It's like he almost was trying to be sneaky, but it ended up where everybody walked away with like, boy, JT is a rat. JT really screwed us over tonight.
When you're in the position when you're the minority on the tribe, you can't do the thing of like, I'm going to play it cute and let's have my old tribe save me on this one, especially when you're in this weird ass situation when you have the opportunity to make the big move.
Right.
I think he and Malcolm both, they flubbed it. They didn't necessarily flubbed it. They tried to get away with it all being perfect in their world.
Well, what are
and
you
it
blaming
didn't happen.
Malcolm for?
I think that Malcolm with JT,
I don't think Malcolm was in on this plan.
Well, no, but Malcolm and JT had talked about getting out Sandra, right?
Yes.
And so I think if I was Malcolm, you'd have to have some concerns about how much is JT with the full tribe versus with his old people. And I think if Malcolm truly believed in his alliance with JT, as he did based on the fact that he was like crying when he was voted out about the fact that he was going to send JT a Christmas card.
No, he wasn't sending JT a Christmas card.
Oh, did they send it?
No, he said he was not going to send it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like he was close enough with JT that he felt that betrayed. If they were that close, why couldn't they come up with a goddamn plan to get Sandra
No,
out?
most of us get Malcolm's Christmas cards.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
Can I ask you about the decision to put the votes on Sierra? That I was talking about this before, about when you guys were in sort of a big standoff at a tribal council at the merge in South Pacific, when you guys were trying to decide, which side is Cochran going to go on. Who you guys decided? You put your votes on
Keith, the lieutenant.
Yes.
I get your thing. To me, it's like this. You know when you're playing rock, paper, scissors with somebody?
Yes.
And you're like, I know they think I'm going to play rock, and so I'm going to play paper, but actually they think that I know that they're going to play rock, so I'm going to play paper, and so they're going to play scissors. I honestly think that at this point in the game, season 35 or 4, whatever it is, I think that the choice to go for Sierra wasn't that first level choice of I'm going to go paper. It was like, I know everybody goes for the lieutenant, so they're going to think we're going for the lieutenant, but we're actually going to go for the big five. Then they're going to think that we know that they're going to go for the big five, so we're actually going to go for the lieutenant. I think they're thinking through it like one step even more.
Yeah. So you think that was the right call to vote for Sierra?
I know you don't want to be results oriented or whatever, but again, I think I think it's hard to judge given that they knew, or that the other tribe knew that they were going to go for Sierra. I'd be curious to know, if we could replay that without knowing who they would have put it on. I think Sierra's a good choice.
So you said that you disagreed with that.
Oh, I think the twist is shit. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait, why? Why is it S?
So the twist reminded me of Survivor Brooklyn.
Okay.
Woo woo.
Oh no.
Because to me, the twist was great, as many Survivor Brooklyn episodes are, in the moment.
Right.
But it didn't kind of, like you said, like where is the payoff, or like at what sacrifice? And to me, like the twist was so random that of course it was going to cause randomness in the tribal council, but it wasn't being based off of like kind of real relationships that had formed. It didn't give everybody like a fair playing field and an opportunity to kind of like show their own strategic chops. To me, it like put a couple people on the line immediately. And like that,
right? This new group of Nuku. This was the one. Like, if you look at like to go back to Reality Game Master, to a game of Risk. Like, this was like the one stronghold. This was like the one continent
Australia,
where Mana had an advantage still. Yeah. They had this 5-1 advantage over JT, and then having this twist took that away from them.
But I think that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So that Mana really, I don't think has a chance in this game anymore.
Yeah. What I liked about it was that it tested people's strategic chops in a way that was foreign. Like you're saying, like there's no test of people's strategic thinking. Like this forces them to think strategically in a different way than they're used to thinking. I think we're all very used to like, my group's going to go to tribal council. These are my 4. I'm worried about him. What do I do in that situation? Now you're forced to completely reevaluate everything you think, not just like, how are my 6 going to vote? These 6 have to vote together to get out, that 5. But also like, I've got a traitor over there. Like, how can I leverage him? JT stands up and walks across the tribal council. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's never happened before.
I don't think they should be allowed to do that. I think it should be a rule.
No.
What? All right. Well, let's take a poll on this. I think that let's ratify the Survivor Constitution. You have to stay in your seat at tribal council.
No. Boo.
Boo. No. You guys like it.
No. Well, it's not against the rules if it's not against the rules.
It's going to get out of hand. It's going to get out of hand. Good. Now, the next people that go play, that they're going to be running around, like, I'll tell you something. We're not going to have anybody mic'd.
I just think they looked like second graders, and I think that was reflective of the kind of strategy they were employing. They were employing strategy of second graders, which is like, oh, shit, what do I do? I want to make sure that I'm in the huddle with everybody else, or else I'm being voted for.
And let me cite some precedent here. Let me go back to Survivor Marquesas. I believe at the final 4, it might be, where I think that Kathy says, Jeff, can I talk to Vesepia about this? He's like, you can talk about it right here.
Right.
But he's not like, oh, you can whisper it in her ear.
Right.
So I don't think you should be allowed to go and have a huddle. This is not the Family Feud. We're not getting ready to do the steal.
Look, I know in the ancient days, back when you played, that this is different rules. The game has evolved, Rob.
Yes.
No, listen, I know better than anybody that Jeff makes up rules on the spot when he wants like somebody to do better. And it happened.
Boy,
it happened. And it was good TV, and it was going to help.
Was it you?
All
right, let's not go there. All right, so what else did you disagree with?
What else do you guys talk about?
How good is Ozzy, Sophie?
Oh
isn't Ozzy looking great?
Ozzy's looking great. I have to say that Ozzy, though, makes me feel bad when I watch the episode, especially when Andrea was like, wow. Or was it Andrea? Was like, wow, this is so great playing with like a real Survivor. It's so much easier. And like, I've been telling everybody how hard Survivor is, and I realized like I probably could not go back without
if Ozzy wasn't there?
No.
Yeah. Are you rooting for Ozzy?
I am rooting for Ozzy. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Ozzy voted for you to win, right?
Ozzy voted for me to win.
Okay.
Cochran did not. No hard feelings. I think he'd be like a come from behind victory at this point, given how poorly he's shown in the last 3 outings.
Yeah.
Come on, Ozzy has been closer more times than anybody else.
Okay, only you would value that.
No, because I know that, there's a lot of randomness that goes into winning and a lot of skill that goes into being second.
Can we talk about how great Brad Culpepper is?
Oh, so you're in on Brad Culpepper now. Okay.
Oh my God. Do
you guys like Brad Culpepper now? This audience cheered so loud when Brad Culpepper won that reward. They love him.
They just like seeing Troyzan fail.
Was that it? They love Brad Culpepper.
But he is the only one I see who truly, I think, has some core group around him, right? Like Ty and Debbie, they were just, Sierra too, they were all looking to him for answers in a really genuine way. And I don't know what he's done, but he has a core group. He has followers in a way that I think Sandra thinks she does, and I'm skeptical.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think there's more people willing to follow Brad into the fire.
And
that we're
I-
seeing.
And you have to give him so much props because how hard is it? You would somebody out here, Chris would know, like for an alpha male to go out there.
Hey!
And to gain followers, like you are expected to do that, and he is doing that, and yet not having the target on him and doing it elegantly.
Okay, so that's a point for Brad Culpepper doing a good job. Sophie, how would you be doing if you were out there? You feel like you'd be doing good with this group?
It's hard to say. I mean, obviously, like I've won the game, so I'd probably win it again.
Yeah. Do you feel like people would target you?
If
Sophie,
Coach
she's a
were
winner.
there,
We have to get rid of her.
No, I mean, I think that I feel bad for people out there playing right now because I feel like they have less in their. I think it's probably true in all returning seasons. That to me, it seems like they probably feel like they have less control than they do in their first season because everybody else has these like prejudgments about them that they're constantly trying to reshape.
Yeah.
And so I like to think that like people wouldn't think much of me, and that would help.
Just like very little airtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very little airtime.
Yeah.
Who's that girl?
Yeah.
Sierra, Hallie, Sophie. No.
All right, well, Sophie, you slayed tonight.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Great job, Sophie Clark. All right. All right. Give it up for Sophie. You want to slide over one? Let's bring up the duo from Millennials versus Gen X. They are not a couple. Let's bring up Brett and Chris.
Get up here, you big ginger. I thought Chris was going to be my Brad Culpepper, but he turned out to just be a scumbag attorney.
How you doing? Get in here. All right. How did Brett do on the opening intro?
It was awful.
Oh, I know.
It was completely awful.
I'm sorry, guys. I wanted that to be great.
It was his moment, like his greatest moment, I think, you know. Yeah, let me get in here on this mic. Yeah, it was like his greatest moment, and it was a complete fail.
Brett?
Yeah, well, listen.
He's stumbling around. He can't talk around me all day.
I thought for some reason it was a shorter version than what I was saying.
It's okay. It's okay. So I want to talk about this crazy tribal council. Brett, the craziest tribal council from Millennials versus Gen X was obviously the rock draw. How similar was this tonight to what you guys went through?
Yeah, man, this was pretty crazy, and it was fun to watch. It was definitely, it probably seemed to them just as crazy as it seemed to us when we were at the rock draw, which, what they call that, the live tribal or whatever?
Live
tribal.
That was a different one, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Chris, you watched it. What do you think?
Sure. I watched it, yeah. I watched it because I went out, you know, Zeke obviously backstabbed me. And I was over there because I was carrying Brett the whole time up until that point.
Right.
So, but this tribal council, I think, was actually crazier than the rock draw from Millennials versus Gen X. I mean, for all the reasons you guys already spoke about, it was this was wild.
Brett, did anybody attempt to go and whisper and move around during that tribal council?
There was a lot of whispering with us. I can't remember if anyone jumped up. I think people like slid over, were listening. It was pretty crazy, and it's like it was something that I wasn't used to from being a fan to seeing, and it's definitely it is kind of weird that we see this jumping around, and I kind of like it though. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
But
I think, Steve.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Rob's wrong.
Yeah. But I think in ours though that Brett said it. I think actually at tribal and our rock draw tribal, they were just there was no. The whispering was just all BS. It was all a bunch of BS. This was crazy. This was real.
Oh, that was just fake out whispering?
I think ours was all
Well,
bullshit.
I think
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I think they were just trying. Everyone was trying to psych each other out.
Yeah, that
everyone
thing
knew
was-
who
It was
they were
like
voting for.
hut fakes?
Yeah, it was bull.
So I just wonder, can you put the toothpaste back in the tube with this? Now, are we going to be seeing in future seasons where now people are like running around, and now it's almost like duck, duck, goose going on at tribal council. There's conversations that we can't hear what they're saying.
I think you brought up a good point, though. It's up to Jeff to control it.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want it, he obviously doesn't want to control it because, I mean, we've all, a lot of us have been to tribal council, and he controls it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this as a fan, but I'm kind of with you a little bit. This opens a Pandora's box. People are going to try, especially like a new cast that just saw this. Now they're going to be doing all kinds of nonsense at tribal council, trying to do these huddles, and it's going to be, it might be fake and just actually turn out really poorly.
Right, let's fake them out so they'll do a different move, play the idol when they shouldn't.
Right.
But give it a chance, right? Like, give it an opportunity.
Yeah, Jeff has to really, all right, break it up. All right, everybody back to the seats. Come on, let's go.
He's going to have to rein it in on a new season, a new cast. Returners, I'm kind of like Steven. Returners, I actually agree that the strategy is different. It's game changers, which, whatever on that.
Let's have faith in the Survivor gods, folks. All right? I think it's going to go fine.
Okay. So I want to hear from you guys about JT's move. Did you like it, Chris?
I understood what he was doing, but I'm not sure. I think it was. I'm kind of on your side on this. It was a little too bold, a little too early. I thought it was great and it was fun, and I understood what he was doing, but I think he was going for the Grand Slam when all he needed was a double. I mean, he didn't need to go for the Grand Slam here. But I do agree with Sophie. I'm not sure who said it. Maybe you said it too. I'm totally agreeing with you. I think I would have stood up at Tribal and said, "I'm voting on Sandra right there. Let's go."
No. Sophie brought it up, but then I made the point.
Okay.
You were nodding.
I like that. I would have stood up and said, "I'm voting for Sandra," and I think Brad and them, if they'd have been more aggressive with Malcolm and JT, if they'd have been more aggressive, I think Brad would have said, "Let's do it." And obviously Brad was running that show on that side.
Brett, what's your take?
I mean, I think he tried to make a bold move, and, we're going to see what's going to happen on it. I don't hate it,
Puts him in a bad position.
It does, but time will tell. I mean, this is a crazy game that we're watching right here.
Now, Chris, it looks like that there is a lawyer alliance developing between Brad and Haley. Do you like seeing that?
I'm not sure about the lawyer alliance. I do like seeing Culpepper do good because he's a football guy and he's a trial lawyer. He's kind of a liberal pansy like myself, I think. So that's a good thing.
Do you like decorating?
Not really,
You should
but
see his
I'm
house.
pretty
I've
good
seen
at
his
it.
house. I'll say yes.
Oh.
And he doesn't wear the pants in that family, I'll tell you.
But I wear the pants in this relationship. What? But as far as Haley and Culpepper, I think there was some. I actually have a little different take on what happened there. She said early on in the game, she said she wanted a physical threat out, and Brad's a physical threat, but also Malcolm. It seemed to me to be a compromise over there, and Haley said, "Hey, I want something." And I think Brad or somebody said, "Hey, why not Malcolm? You said you want a physical threat. Let's compromise here. Mm-hmm. You're on our team. You're with us. Clearly, let's do this."
So you think the Malcolm vote was like Brad bringing Haley into the fold?
Maybe so. I think so. I mean, it makes sense. She said, "I want a physical threat out," and she's jockeying around. She's flip flopping, and all of a sudden, at the end there, when she says, "I don't want to vote now," she said something to Sandra like, "You might regret it."
Yeah.
Sandra said, "Let's go ahead and vote." And she said, "You might regret it." Yeah. And I think they compromised there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the initial tribe dynamics were at Mana. I think that Sandra was in with Haley. It was what?
Yeah,
Sandra, Haley, Jeff Varner, Troy Zan, and Michaela. Yeah. I think that was the original, and then I think
like a swing, right?
I think that Malcolm and Beast Mode Cowboy and Aubrey were sort of like, just like either unaligned or sort of at least like partially with Tony. So yeah, she might have not been seeing eye to eye with Malcolm from the start.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do have to just give Brad some credit here, though. I mean, he does seem to be I think you made a great point earlier. He's going after some of these young guys, and looks like he's taken out all of his threats. He's playing one hell of a game, it seems to me.
Well, when we were talking about idol play earlier, and everybody was talking about Ty's decision, it wasn't Ty's decision. It was Brad Culpepper's
right.
decision.
He was like,
Ty literally said, "Who do I give it to, Brad?" And Brad goes, "Her."
Yeah.
It wasn't Ty's decision, and Brad's running the show over there right now, which, that didn't go well for me.
Okay, let me
Nope.
Zeke.
let me ask you guys about some of your millennials
tribe
versus Gen X buddies. Okay, you mentioned Zeke. Zeke looks to be in a pretty safe space right now.
I think Zeke's in a great spot right now. He's just kind of laying back. He's clearly the puzzle king. No one's giving him enough credit. He's never lost a puzzle, I don't think. I don't think he ever has. So.
Yeah, Zeke and Suri are really like a dynamic duo on the puzzles.
And I'll say I would give more credit to Zeke on the puzzles. So I think Zeke's in a great spot right now. He's done well considering they don't know anything about Zeke going in.
He knew right when they were going to swap the tribes. Jeff said, "What's going to happen now?" He said, "Tribe swap."
Yeah, he's pretty.
He's on top of things.
He's a survivor geek on some of that stuff.
All right, with now Michaela, we got to see more of her tonight, and
man,
yeah. Now, Brett, do you want to speak at all about Michaela on the puzzle?
Yeah, man. She definitely should have been out there. She crushed it on our season. But again, they didn't know. You made a great point.
Apparently, no one here was watching. She stepped up to the plate and was actually doing it.
Yeah.
She did try and apparently wasn't doing it.
I
She's
did
great at it.
say that to Steven.
She was actually up there. So, Brett.
Chris, are you done? Can I get a couple words in here? Or?
Well, yeah.
I mean, he is my sugar daddy, so I got to let him get some stuff. But no, like Michaela's starting to show Michaela though. Okay, now this is what got her in trouble on our season, and she's amazing. She could do. She would have crushed that challenge. I'm telling you right now. There's no doubt in my mind.
She tried it.
But she's got to reel it in, and she tribal council. She's got a little. You saw a little side of her that she's been hiding, which I think has been good.
Yeah. Was she the one at the end that said with Sandra that JT is the rat?
She did.
Yeah. She didn't like that.
No. Yeah, and JT's put himself in a tough spot.
But with good intentions.
Yeah.
Hey, I think whoever said he was playing with house money is correct.
Yeah.
He's playing with house money, which is cool. I mean, it's game changer. You're supposed to change game. I don't know.
Do you think that Michaela is coming into this season too hot? I feel like that she had said a lot in the pregame was, I need to, really not, tip my hand as much this time around. And then we saw the first vote when they said, okay, well, we're going to vote off Sierra, but the fake vote is going to be you. She's like, I don't like that.
Yeah. No, I think she's been good at reeling it in. She's been reeling it in, but every now and then you see her come out, and it's
flash.
We love. That's what we love about Michaela,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do think she's reeling it in, but reeling it in for Michaela is still out there.
Yeah, it is.
So.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the episode?
I loved it. I don't know. I really liked it.
Great.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fantastic. I think I honestly think it's the greatest tribal council ever. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And for me, it was. I understand. I'm on your side. I'm more of a traditionalist too, but for entertainment value, it was great.
I don't want to poo-poo the entertainment value. It was like you're not going to get a bigger bang for your buck there.
I do think it's opened a Pandora's box.
But I just wonder at what cost. Like, I don't want to be a hypocrite on this because I'm the guy that's always saying like, hey, let's try this. But I don't know if we should try this again.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be in Malcolm's position on that.
If you're Malcolm, I don't know how you live with this.
Yeah, but we, the viewers, get to have a wonderful experience. We're not Malcolm. I'm like, yay.
That really shocked me. I was really bummed out that he was pulling out. That really bummed me out. I did not see that coming. I really thought it was going to be Sandra tonight.
Because from Malcolm's perspective, I think he came back to this season thinking, okay, I'm going to win. Like, if you listen to any of his pregame interviews, like, he came back like...
All of these returning players come back thinking they're going to win, and that's where they're wrong.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. All right.
I think I'm going to win. I'm not even on the show.
No.
That's how bad I am.
You're not going to win.
All right, everybody, give it up for Chris and Brett. Woo!
Thanks, Steve. That's great.
Okay. All right. We got a few more minutes. That if anybody, we have time for like one or two questions if people wanna line up. If you got quick ones and good ones, okay. Also, all right. You want to say hi to you want to say hi, Liz? All right. Let's say hi to Liz Markham.
Hello.
Okay, pull right in.
Come on.
Okay. Liz, so many of your co-wrong buddies are back this season.
It's exciting to see them all on TV.
Yeah. Any standouts for you from the co-wrong group? We saw a lot of Debbie tonight.
Debbie is always a standout.
Move in a little closer.
Debbie is always a standout, and there's nothing she can do that's not incredibly entertaining.
What's going on with Debbie next week? She's like Sue Hawk in Survivor All Stars, like freaking out.
I'm excited to find out. I have no idea based on
Somebody
that
set
promo.
Debbie off.
Is Debbie's like gameplay this season? Is it familiar to you based on what you've seen of her in the past?
It's really consistent. She has this sort of like dual thing going on where she's like really intelligent, really perceptive, but also so crazy, and it's like sort of hard to know which side of her you're getting in the moment. Like, is she being astute or is she being like completely off the wall?
Yeah. I thought that Debbie was good at the start of the episode tonight. Like, I've seen flashes
She
from
played
Debbie.
Haley. Yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about, I'm telling Haley exactly what she wants to hear, but it's 100% going to be Haley if we go to a tribal council. Like, if there was not a twist tonight, if it would have been even just the twist of, okay, both tribes go to tribal council,
Right.
we would have seen Haley go home in one tribal council.
And JT.
Probably JT in the other
Yeah.
tribal council.
Making my point.
Well,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you were Jeff and you were deciding on this twist, like you're announcing ahead of time that two tribes are going to tribal council and you know one person's going home, like what do you think is going to happen?
I think that they're probably looking at it like if the Nuku tribe goes to tribal council, it's maybe the one thing that's going to save JT. I
Right.
think they might be looking at it that way. And again, of course,
But the
these
challenge,
things are made up
they're killing
before
the
the
challenges. I don't think Nuku needs, I don't think Nuku needs like help, right? Like the only thing that's going to hurt them is this twist, right? They were right there.
right. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the kind of thing they say, hey, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
But I think that it's sort of invited instead of at this point in the game where you are more prone to get rid of people that are not physical threats. You tend, even though Beast Mode Cowboy went home last time, I think that
And Tony the time before that.
But we're talking about when they go down to tribes of 6. That historically, it's been a lot of people who are not challenge assets.
Right.
So I think that maybe this ultimately changed it where it made it like the merge.
Although Russ Swan also.
We're talking about something, two different things. Very interesting. How's Aubrey doing?
I think she's in a good spot this game. It seems like she's not ruffling too many feathers.
She got a lot of analogies.
Yeah, the carrier pigeons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's really brought the analogy game back for Survivor Game Changers. And what about Ty?
Ty, once again, is sort of rubbing some people the wrong way, making other people love him, and it seems like if he can avoid that perception that he's too underhanded, too willing to turn on his own friends, like, which in the last episode where he just like doesn't go with Caleb, like which everybody expects him to do, it's going to sort of like undermine him, I think, in the long run when people don't think that he's really loyal to his friends.
Stephen, wasn't JT pretty down on Ty? He was like, I want to get rid of Ty. He's sneaky.
Well,
I don't
I
like
thought
him.
like he's protecting his allies, right? Like he was tight with Culpepper, Sierra, and Debbie on the other tribe, like as Debbie said, right? And I think he's incredibly loyal and was betrayed by a disloyal former ally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get one of these questions here real quick. All right. What's your name?
Kara.
Kara. Go ahead.
Okay. First off, Brett, your opening was great. My question. My question is, I know we've talked a lot about the episode, but my question is about like the aftermath for JT, because as they were walking out, Michaela and Werner were saying JT messed us up. So what can he do to get out of this mess at this point?
All right, Stephen, let's talk damage control. You think that if they go to another tribal council, he's out no matter what, right?
His whole play was like, I'm in trouble on this tribe. My one ally here is Malcolm. I need to mix things up. I think like losing the one ally and drawing further attention to himself, like I think he's got to win.
Mm-hmm.
Or find an ally.
Or find an idol. Okay. All right. Could I? You want to say hi to Lee Wilson? You know who that is?
Yeah, I've just met him.
Let's say hi to. All right. Let's fly this guy in. Special guest. Lee Wilson, one of the Hunted stars, winner of Hunted, Lee and Hilmar.
I don't know if I'm allowed to touch the bell, but I kind of do what I want to do.
You do it. You go for it. Lee is a Survivor fan.
It's true.
What'd you think of the episode?
I thought it was riveting television, and I don't think that Jeff is going to let it get that crazy at Tribal Council again.
Okay.
He controls the show. It's his show, right? He's not going to let just mass chaos unfold. Like, he's going to keep it under his thumb.
Which survivors should go unhunted?
Oh, shoot. Zeke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zeke would be good.
My real hope is that since I've been in this kind of situation, like, My hope is that Zeke won, and he's having a party in his head right now. Like, he's just, like, soaking it up. That's my hope. That's my hope.
It's a hope.
Let's see. Who else do I think would do really well? I think that Malcolm would get caught quickly.
He's so handsome. How do you miss
Oh,
Malcolm?
why?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I say that, but Hilmar did pretty well, and he's a drop-dead stunner.
Whoa.
So I don't know. I don't know. It's a
Okay,
totally different game.
And Lee, are you going to be the first crossover hunted star to appear on Survivor?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you tackle that?
I would love to. I don't. It's such
You
a
got to be a lot
game.
trickier.
Yeah, I know. It's such a different game. I don't know if I could win the game of Survivor like I did Hunted, but I would love to see the game from the inside and just feel the pressure of having to, like, for 39 days look somebody in the face and play them.
Okay. All right. Billy, you want to say hi? Hey, everybody. Billy Garcia's here. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
And while Billy's getting up here, let me make a couple of announcements that outside in the lobby, you can check out this new poster that Brian Malloy did for us. It's me and Stephen on the 90s cereal box.
I think Brian's, like, I think his posters, and, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're all going to be limited editions, I think. So, like, you have a limited time to get these while they're hot.
Yeah, he's set up outside. This has got a limited number on it. This is just for tonight, the Survivor Know-It-Alls cereal box, so check that out.
And Rob even has his beard on that. Which
Yes,
is,
and this is new. I have a beard in this one. And also, Van City Geofilters designed a special geofilter for this event tonight that you can get that here and at the after party coming up after this show. So how about that, Billy Garcia?
Hey.
Yeah, Billy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. As always, I love listening to you guys go back and forth. You guys are like the best at each other's throat, like friends that I've ever had.
But who's right? It's me,
Yes,
right? I'm
Billy.
right. Yeah.
Billy, I asked Sophie this. Are you rooting for Ozzy this season?
You know what? I am. I'm rooting for Ozzy. At this point, I kind of feel bad for him.
Why?
Because he gets a lot of heat from throwing the challenge. Like in the Spanish speaking community, he got a lot of heat for that. And like they were like, "You race traitor."
No.
So I feel bad. Back then I was like, "Yeah, tell him." But
Is this
today
fake
I'm like,
news,
oh,
Billy?
Oh man, I feel
This is
bad
real.
for him. So this is back
You've
then.
upset Steven.
This was back then. So after so
But
many
it
years,
calmed
now
down.
I feel
It calmed down.
Yeah, now I feel bad for him. So now
Okay.
I'm rooting for him. Plus, I'd like to say I lost to a future winner.
A future winner. Okay. And who's your most favorite this season?
Wow. Culpepper is I'm rooting also for Culpepper for selfish reasons because he's an early boot that if he wins it all, I'm in.
Oh, so if Brad Culpepper comes back and wins, then he'll bring back the real game changer, Billy Garcia.
That's right. You know what, man? Hey, admit it. I'm more of a game changer than Caleb ever was. Like, what was his game changing move? What was his game changing move that the doctor asked him to sit up and he couldn't?
All right.
Hey, and I got a question for you guys, especially for Steven. Like, who came up with the names of these tribes? Like, they're subliminal. It's like you got the Nuke tribe and the tribe that has mono. Who came up with these tribes' names?
Oh, Billy working on his stand-up set at Caroline.
We are at Caroline's.
Okay. All right. Well, what's the hashtag tonight?
Hashtag bring back Billy Garcia.
No,
Thank you very much.
No. Steven?
It can't be that every time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was it last time. No. You got a hashtag? You got a short question? Okay, all right. Then we'll answer it after the show. Okay.
All right. In all seriousness,
What is it? Brad Bandwagon? Pandora's Box?
how about Cult of Brad? To be honest with you.
Cult of Brad?
Pandora's boxes.
Okay. All right. We'll go with Cult. All right, Colt Pepper. You guys like that?
Colt Pepper. That's
All right,
a
that's
one.
good. That's pretty good.
All right, great.
That's pretty good.
I want to thank you guys all for coming out to these
Thank you.
shows. Hey, how many people are going to come up and see Stephen and I in Toronto this May? I'm sorry, Toronto.
Brett's
Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you got 2 months to get ready. Stephen, what else?
This was amazing. Once again, thank you all so much. This is such a fun night, and it's so exciting. Like, it's so fun to just watch the episode, and now have everyone like screaming at the TV.
Yeah, it's electric. Thank you guys so much. We've got so much coming up on the podcast. Malcolm exit interview, very still sad.
Yeah.
Richard Hatch, your voicemails. So get your calls in. robisawebsite.com/voicemail. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Go to robisawebsite.com/iTunes. Yes. What's that? Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.